G'day folks, Jeff here with my top 20 Dark Descent Records releases. G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at another of my favourite record labels. Today, Dark Descent. For once, a record label that's glory days were 30 years ago. It's a relatively newish label, which I quite like. I got a heap of their stuff, so yeah, they were formed by Matt Calvert in about 2009. So yeah, only 14 years old, and they've pumped out a lot of great stuff in that time. I think he did it sort of on the side at first, but went full-time in about 2012 when he quit the Air Force, I think. So yeah, they're based in Colorado in America, and yeah, do some damn fine work. Pretty sure the first Dark Descent release I got of theirs was Corpest with the Dagger and the Chalice. So yeah, it was a damn good start. Let's put it that way. This video might be a little confusing because they do a lot of split releases with British label Misako Un Urjo. So it's a bit hazy as to which label the band's actually signed to or which puts it out. Half the time Dark Descent do the CD and Misako do the record version, so yeah, it's a bit murky, but who cares, my video. I'll probably do a separate Misako one that'll probably have half of this stuff in it again. They also work pretty closely with the Crypts, or like Dark Symphonies, another American label that yeah, they work closely on reissues with them, do some damn good work there. There is a sub-label called Unspeakable Acts, which is mostly sort of thrashier or death thrash sort of stuff. I don't really have a huge amount of their sort of work. As you may have guessed from my other videos, I much prefer the even murkier sounding death metal, like pure death metal stuff, so yeah, Dark Descent gets more of a win for that. But Unspeakable Acts has got some good stuff. I think I've got Suicide and some what's it called? Void Spawn CD that I don't even remember buying, but oh well. And I do actually want to track down the Trench Rot album that they put out, because that's pretty bonza. But other than that, they've got like some other sub-label called Umbra Day that doesn't appear to be too active. I'm not sure if it's just like ambient sort of stuff, or I don't know. But yeah, Dark Descent itself, most of it, death metal. I like it. They got some black metal, but they got a lot, and as you'll soon see, a lot of Finnish death metal as well. Don't know if Matt's a Finnish descent or he's just got damn good taste, but yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. First up at number 20, we have Lucifire with Sun Eater. This came out in 2014. This is pretty damn brutal death metal, basically, from, I think they're British and Polish, something like that. Got like 3 albums, all of which are pretty bloody killer. Well, I don't actually own the first one. The Calling Depths came out on like Blood Harvest or Pulverized Records, I think. I don't have that, but I've got the newer one, the Broken Seal, but yeah, this is ripping stuff. It's very intense, just furious death metal. I quite like this one because it's got guest vocals from Mark of the Dead, from one of my favourite black metal bands, Cult de Ghouls from Poland, I think. So yeah, he does sort of vocals on, I can't remember, one of the later songs, just a proper song, but the first one is like this really slow, long intro that he sort of does his thing over the top of. Sounds eerie as hell. It's great. But yeah, overall just blasting nastiness. Sort of slightly Black Death, I suppose you could say, but yeah, it's effective stuff. Number 19 is Oath of Cruelty with Summary Execution at Dawn. I don't actually own this one yet, it's a bit embarrassing, but I'll track it down pretty soon, I reckon. This is just ripping thrash, just slowly deathy. You could probably call it death thrash, but it's kind of in that vein of, you know, your Sepultura, your Incubus, like the good Incubus, one of the good Incubuses, sorry, and like Merciless, who they cover. Yeah, it's your pleasure to kill kind of level of nastiness. This is like Dave from PLF and Matt from pretty much every Texan metal band. He's in Blaspherian, was in Morbosidad, Imprecation. He's now in Cruciamentum, who have a new album coming out soon, which should be good. Both of them are in Cemeterian and yeah, a lot of other bands. They get around, those boys. But yeah, it's just fast, furious, ripping sort of stuff. It's pretty much just thrash with blast beats in there. It's kind of reminds me a bit of, you know, your Angel Corpse and Impiety sort of stuff, but yeah, just quick, intense, you know, smash your head off sort of solos. Does slow down occasionally, but and yeah, just nice raspy vocals. It's not Dave's usual style. He's usually a lot deeper in PLF and I don't know, other bands that he sings in, but yeah, I reckon this would go pretty bloody well live. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this wasn't on Unspeakable Acts instead of the main Dark Descent. It sort of seems like their sort of style, but oh well. And yeah, look at that killer cover art by Daniel Sawblade from another Texan mate. So yeah, it's ripping thrash sort of stuff. Up next is the Lord Diablos with Down There. This is actually a Beherit demo that originally only ever came out on tape. It was, I think it was bootlegged along with the Archcoat demo. But finally it was properly released by Dark Descent and the Sinister Flames. So yeah, I had to pick that up. Yeah, this is demo of theirs from 1991. They put it out under the name the Lord Diablos instead of Beherit because they were having dramas with Turbo Music, who put out, I think they put out The Oath of Black Blood against the band's wishes. It was just like two demos slapped together sort of thing. So yeah, they weren't big fans, so they put this out on the sly, even though it sounds exactly like Beherit. It's got like 4 tracks. Intro is just Tyreb or Tyreb and just Beherit backwards. Evil. I'm pretty sure that's exactly the same as the Drawing Down the Moon one. 6 Days with Static Slayer it's also on that At the Devil's Studio sort of other album that they recorded around that time. The vocals on this just sound even crazier, although it does sort of sound a bit like Donald ducking farts, which doesn't really help with the atmosphere, I gotta say. But Nocturnal Evil's another song off Drawing Down the Moons, but it sounds a lot better there. But this version's a bit more bestial. It's kind of it's always interesting to hear the earlier demo versions of things. The last song on this is Fallen Souls, which is I don't know if it's on anything particularly. It's got like lengthy keyboard intro and outro bits, but then it's just the usual berserkness. It's got a not very good solo in it somewhere, so as well as some slow bits. So it's interesting to hear. I mean, honestly, it's like 12 minutes long. I wouldn't really say it's necessarily worthwhile unless you're a die-hard Beherit fan and want a evil sketched or etched disc. So yeah, it's not as polished as Drawing Down the Moon. If you're gonna get any Beherit, either get The Oath of Black Blood or Drawing Down the Moon. But number 17 is Swallowed with Lunar Terial. Yeah, this is continuing the Finnish side of things. Yeah, this came out in 2014. Yeah, this is a odd sort of band. They only ran from like 2007 to 2014, which I hadn't actually realised they'd split up, but I suppose it had been a while. I was quite impressed by their initial sort of 7-inch. It was just sort of murky death metal with, you know, occasional sort of bursts of speed. The second song, Black Phlegm, was pretty aptly titled, I think. This album is their only album that they put out. It gets a bit more, I don't know, kind of bestial, a bit more like Titan Blood side of things. It's still, you know, it's still death doomy sort of stuff, continuing in the, you know, Finnish vein of Unholy and Barathrum, and a bit of Beherit thrown in there as well. I'm just name dropping Finnish bands here at this point. But, yeah, it's unique sort of stuff, you could say. Yeah, it's not quite as dirgy as it could be, but yeah, as I said, there's sprinklings of fast bits all the way through, but still murky and horrible sounding. The vocals are a bit raspier than they were. I think Black Aura was one of my more favoured songs on here. It's just eerie and atmospheric and intense sort of stuff. Black Phlegm gets redone here from the 7-inch, and it's a bit more sort of psychedelic. It almost reminds me of fellow Finnish death doom bands, DeLorean, who is a very underrated album, this one. Yeah, it's not really for everyone, I gotta say. It's odd sort of stuff. And if you get the record, I mean, my record's actually a Misako one, but you get the fancy etched one, but you probably can't see for shit on video, but oh, what the hell. It's got a cube, a 3D cube kind of thing on it for some reason. So, yeah, this is an underrated sort of band. I didn't get much giant amount of notice back when they were around. So, yeah, sad to see them go, but yeah, swallowed. Interesting stuff. Number 16 is Craven Idol with Forked Tongues. I'll show you the full cover. Looks bloody spiffy as. And then, boy's looking tough. This is British black thrash. This is very much in the vein of Destroyer 666, that sort of stuff. But honestly, this is way better than the last couple of Destroyer albums that didn't really do much for me, to tell the truth. This is just nice, fast, powerful sort of stuff. It's mostly raspy sort of vocals. We does some high screams, and I think, Deify, the Storm God, even has some clean stuff that sounds pretty bloody good, actually. It's just high level of energy. You know, as I said, nothing original, but who cares? It's got a slower ending on the last couple of songs, but just perfect production, way better than the previous album, Shackles of Mammon. And yeah, cover art's just killer. It's Illurin Cantor, who also did like Atheist and Immolation and Incantation, and those new Cavalera Conspiracy reissues of the first two Sepultura releases. Yeah, bloke can draw, or paint, or whatever. But yeah, this is just killer black thrash. If you like your Gospel of the Horns, or you know, all the good stuff, this is up there with that, I reckon. It's just awesome. Number 15 is Temple Nightside with Condemnation. This is a split release they did with Nuclear Winter from Greece. This is Aussie Black Death. This is a bit more black than their later stuff like the Hecatomb, which featured on my Aussie Top 20 Albums video, so highly recommend you to check that out. This is more of those lovely sort of Beherit style vocals, sort of whispery and massive roars at the same time. I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who lately, and it kind of sounds like the Sea Devils a bit from the Pertwee sort of era. Actually, to me, this sounds cavernous, and I don't mean like incantation cavernous, I mean like ancient cult worshipping outer gods sort of cavernous. It's just killer, slow sort of... I love that slow beat with the fast tremolo style. It just works really bloody well. I think, what is it? Exhumation Miseries Upon Imprecation is my favourite song. And you get a nice looking evil skull action there. This was also redone as Re-Condemnation, maybe a couple of years ago. I think the original one's from 2013. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit clean for my liking, I gotta say. It's just not nasty enough sounding. It does have a Mayhem cover added, which is always a bonus. So, but yeah, I like the drenched in reverb style of the original one. So yeah, Black Death, doomy kind of stuff. Yeah, highly recommended. Number 14 is Faceless Burials with At the Foothills of Deleration. This is actually new one. This came out last year, so this is in my top 20 albums of 2022 list. So I recommend you go watch that video to see me rambling about it some more. But yeah, this is just twisting, crazy death metal from Melbourne, Australia. Killer band, very obviously high level of skills. On this, I really love A Mire of Penitence second song. They just sort of go off in these weird tangents, but still, you know, circle back to the main sort of riff all the way through, which just works really well. Dehiscent, whatever that is, has just got killer bloody groove to it as well. I think my favourite track on this is probably From the Bastion to the Pit. It's just 7 minutes of just everything, including the kitchen sink thrown in. There's just, yeah, a lot going on in these guys. So if you like your death metal, technical and just crazy, weird, jumping off on odd tangents, yeah, Faceless Burial. I don't usually do reissues in these, but this one was pretty important to Dark Descent. I think it was an early one they put out that did well. This is Time Ghoul with their 1992 to 94 discography. This is a legendary old US death metal tech sort of band very weird stuff. They did like 2 demos in, well, 92 and 94, Tumultuous Travellings and Panoramic Twilight. It was pretty influential for a lot of bands, including, you know, Portal and Blood Incantation. Both were big fans, I believe. It's a band I'd seen mentioned in, like, you know, zines and stuff, but I never actually heard them until I finally got this. So I was very happy to get this stuff because, yeah, it's special sort of stuff. It's mostly, I mean, it's demo quality, so, although, to tell the truth, it sounds pretty good for 30 years ago. Yeah, they're long, winding sort of song structures. I think one of them's like 10 minutes long. Vocals are mostly sort of growled, but they've got some weird sort of clean, kind of robot-y almost sounding vocal bits that, yeah, work very well. Yeah, I've also got this on CD, but this is the original CD that came out that doesn't have all the extra stuff. This record version has like live gigs as well, and I think some like demo kind of recordings that one of the band members did afterwards. And yeah, this is a full giant friggin' fold out version. Hey, you get a poster of that as well. You know, it's got, you know, lyrics and old fanzine stuff, and then, you know, liner notes. It's quite interesting. Mentions they're eclectic, which is a very good descriptor for these guys. They did reissue it again recently with just the 2 demos on it, I think, including a reel-to-reel version of it that I'll put a picture of up. I think it was more just a laugh. I almost bought that. I think Demolish maybe put out a reel-to-reel one as well. I almost bought that just for the hell of it. Not that I could play it, but I want some 8-track death metal. What's going on? But yeah, I highly recommend checking these guys out. It's just killer weird death metal stuff that's, yeah, legendary for a reason. Number 12, and we're back to Finland again with Lantern with Below. Yeah, this is a Finnish death metal band. I'm pretty sure they're still going. Yeah. They got on this is their first album. It's got an odd sort of trebly kind of sound. I don't know. It just takes a bit to get used to. I mean, it's still death metal. It's pretty bloody heavy, but it's just odd sound. These guys are from Kuopio, however the hell you're supposed to pronounce that. Same town as Demolish, so yeah, it kind of shows a bit. It's pretty out there, crazy sort of death metal at times. It's got really powerful, intense vocals that kind of remind me a bit of, you know, your Sylvian Horde from the early Cataclysm days. Not quite as crazy as him, but still, it's, yeah, distinct style, you could say. I really love the lead work on Revenant and Entrenching something or other presences. It's got just killer Finnish melody to it. It's, yeah, really excellent stuff. Second album, Morphosis, really didn't do much to me, to tell the truth. Yeah, I don't know, there's something about it just didn't quite click, but Dimensions, their newer album, yeah, it's back to good form. But yeah, this first album's just a bit more alien, a bit more weird sounding, and it's got really sort of driving drums as well. I don't know, it works very effectively. So, pretty odd, but very enjoyable. Number 11 is Backyard Mortuary with Lure of the Occult. Now, this is completely cheating. For starters, this record version came out on Blood Harvest, not on Dark Descent. They originally released it themselves on CD, which is what this one is. I also have a tape of it from some Greek label for some reason. The one thing I don't have is the Dark Descent CD version, but it was actually released on Dark Descent, so I'll pay that one. Yeah. I love this band. Yeah, they're traditional death metal from Sydney. No longer around, unfortunately. This is their one and only album. Although I will show this beautiful original demo 2002 Dead Gorgeous. Look at that cover art, it's beautiful. But yeah, as I said, this is just traditional straight ahead death metal, just catchy as hell. Aussie legends of Bramlin are obviously quite the influence, especially on Chris's vocals. Yeah. Just mostly deep growls, but there's some good screaming bits as well, and also some quality death laughter on Mutation, I think it is. Love a good evil death metal laugh. Deprivation's probably my favourite song on this, just for the slow riff. It's just heavy as buggery. But yeah, I saw these guys live a batch of times, including on the massive tour that they did with Shackles. That was a damn good tour. As far as the band, Chris is now in Blasphemencia, sort of old school, I don't know, thrashy, black metal-y sort of band, with drummer Jon, who's in like most of Sydney bands as well. Guitarist Stu is making death metal in horrendous, and he's also in funeral doom bands, Illimitable Dollar and The Slow Death. And Bianca, the bassist, I think she was in Canine. I don't know if she's still in that band, but yeah, this is just catchy as buggery death metal. Just heavy, nasty stuff, just right up my back alley.
Heavy riders, footsteps engraved in the past.
Number 10 is Crypt Sermon with Out of the Garden. This is just epic doom metal from Philadelphia in the States. It was very much like Candlemass and Solitude Aeterna, especially the vocals. Yeah, he's got soaring vocals and does nice cover art as well. Yeah, I kind of like the faster, more metal, trouble sort of sounding bits in, Heavy Riders. And Byzantium's are just pure doom plotter. That's killer stuff. I think it's Into the Holy of Holies has got some quality Dio vocal action in the chorus. And yeah, I think the Master's Bouquet sounds quite a bit like Messiah or a Candlemass, but it's don't let the comparisons throw you off. This is just killer bloody doom. Good punchy sort of sound as well. It's not like it does sound, it's still got an 80s sort of sound, but with modern production, it's, yeah, killer stuff. For some reason their second album, The Ruins of Fading Light, just didn't quite grab me as much. I don't appear to own that at all. But yeah, this album, killer stuff. Number 9 is chthe'ilist with Ladonia Crepuscule. This is cheating, really. This came out on Profound Law, but hey, my record version came out on Dark Descent, so close enough. If I ever do a Profound Law one, this will probably feature on that video as well. So, yeah, this is just weird, alien, strange Canadian death metal. Very, very odd sort of stuff. Yeah, you can tell it's inspired by Finnish death metal, including a bit of Demolish, but I think they get the Demolish thing thrown about too often. There's only really a few bits where it's sort of got that weird angular sort of riffing style. But one thing I really love, and this is the vocals, they just got these weird sort of insect, strange sort of vocals. And so, I mean, plenty of nice, deep death metal-y ones, but just these odd sort of ones that just gives it an even more alien sound. Of course, it's got killer solos by Phil, who is in about 50 bands, it seems, or maybe tours with 50 bands. It's also got the occasional that slap bass cryptopsy sound for a bit more Canadian action that just sounds killer. That was so good live at Dark Mofo gig last year, I think it was. So yeah, check out one of my other links to both my review and also I think I got like a song or two from theirs. Yeah, it was just amazing performance. They were just killer live. But yeah, just weird, crazy death metal. I really hope they're still actually going. I mean, they appear to be. They played last year in Tassie, so. But yeah, I haven't actually put anything out for a while, so I'm looking forward to more from these guys. But yeah, chthe'ilist, great band. Up next is Horrendous with Anoretta. This is their third album, I think, from this US death metal band. The album before this, Ecdysis, yeah, that was great as well. But it was kind of straddling their early HM2 kind of style with the just more progressive and melodic later sort of stuff. It's just this new album or newer album just sounds, I don't know, like they got there. It's just unashamedly, progressive melodic death metal, but still pretty damn death metal. It's just comfortable and unforced, which I kind of prefer. Has some nice sort of uplifting parts that you probably wouldn't call death metal, but still sounds bloody good. And even noodly bass, which I'm not generally a fan of, but well, it works here. has harsh, raspy sort of death vocals, kind of like your Chuck from Death, or maybe a bit of Martin Van Drunen in action. As far as the songs go, Ozymandias is one of my favourites. It's just a nice, faster thrash sort of feel to it. There's a nice solo that kind of reminds me of Rocky George, which is always a good thing. He's one of my favourite guitarists. Kind of harks back to, what is the song, Resonator off the previous album. Acolytes is another ripper, but yeah, everything's bloody good on here, really, to tell the truth. For some reason I didn't buy the next album, Idol, and they do have a brand spanking that just came out that I've only listened to it once, I think, so far, and it didn't really catch me for some reason. I don't know, I'll give it more of a go, but yeah, this album, bloody killer. Up next is Xanthofaxis with Sacred White Noise. This is the first album from the Canadian black metal, very strange chaps. Yeah, this is weird, atmospheric sort of black metal, lots of, sliding up and down and high-pitched sort of bits like thorns. It actually reminds me of Portal in parts. It doesn't actually sound like them, but this has that it's uneasy listening, you could call it. I could actually see, probably based on, partly on the graphics and so on, I could see these guys being on a David Lynch soundtrack. They'd be perfect for, Twin Peaks weird scenes or God knows what. On this, the vocals got a bit more sort of human sounding than the first EP, which was pretty intense as well. It's got some nice violin work on Eternally Falling, and I think Lost in Static Between Worlds is probably my favourite on here. It's just disturbing and eerie sort of stuff. This is like just avant-garde black metal, but yeah, not like your Arcturus sort of stuff. This is, odd. And there's no lyrics or anything. I assume it's not, I'm going to sacrifice your granny to Beelzebub sort of type lyrics. So, and yeah, they go by they don't say who they are. No idea who they are. Obviously, probably like 3 or 4 Canadian blokes, no doubt, but who knows. They do actually have a brand new album out, Hive Mind Narcosis, that could possibly make this list as well. I've got to listen to it a bit more for it to really sink in, but yeah, it's pretty friggin' impressive, I've got to say. Just as intensely eerie, just eerie as what this band is, just odd, very nasty. Oh, not nasty, but scary death metal. Oh, black metal. Up next is Spectral Voice with Eroded Corridors of Unbeing. This is death doom, very heavy stuff from Colorado, the home state of Dark Descent. This is 3/4 of Blood Incantation, but I'm fairly certain that the other non-member of Blood Incantation and drummer and vocalist Eli is the main sort of writer of this band. Yeah, this is just heavy, nasty stuff. Their Necrotic Doom sort of EP before this bloody rules as well. You got pretty heavy disembowelment and evoking sort of influence on this, which is very fine by me. It does have a bit of Blood Incantation to it, just kind of the groovy transition sort of style. But yeah, it's mostly slow and heavy. They do have a nice couple of speed pickups. So what is it? Visions of Psychic Dismemberment's probably my favourite song on here. It's just has this awesome mid-pace section and then a nasty sort of tremolo bit that just sounds killer. Vocals are mostly deep sort of stuff, but what is it? Vision, or the same song, Visions, has some screamed sort of vocals that work really well. I did see these guys at MDF. They played in pretty much darkness. Thankfully, they were playing inside, not on the outdoor stage. And unfortunately, the vocals sort of, I don't know, his mic must have been plugged in properly or something or other. They didn't work for a couple of songs, which was a shame, but when they kicked in, holy shit, very impressive stuff. So I'm very keen for more from these guys. It's really right up my alley, this sort of stuff. I love the slow death doomy bits with nice mid-paced crunch sort of bits. Very much looking forward to it. I mean, this came out in 2017, so give us some more, come on! Number 5 is Corpest with Abysmal Thresholds. This is from 2014, and unsurprisingly, more Finnish death metal. And believe me, there's more Finnish death metal bands that could have made this list that didn't. So. these guys are pretty grand, powerful sounding death metal. They've got a bit of Morbid Angel to them, but they also sound quite a bit like their country mates Crypts. Just sort of grand, epic sort of feel to it, and really dense sort of sound that I like. It was actually difficult to pick between their 3 albums because they're all bloody killer. This one though, it's got Demonical Subjugation, which is just my favourite song, and just great mix of their styles and just some massive riffs in it. They actually remixed and partly re-recorded this a couple of years ago, I think, because they obviously weren't happy with this production, but I prefer the original. It sounds way better, I reckon, but anyway. Just quality finished death metal, modern sort of style, and I don't mean that in a bad way at any mean. It doesn't sound like Amorphous or Abhorrence at least, so just awesome stuff. Number 4 is Headest with Netherwards. This is a death doom band from Seattle. Unfortunately split a number of years ago, but bloody killer for their one album. Definite disembowelment vibes on this one. Very deep, powerful vocals. So yeah, it's very long and slow. There's like 4 songs for 40 minutes on here. The second song, Estrangement, actually sounds a bit like Pallbearer in parts, and just until those massive bloody roaring vocals kick in. It builds to a kind of a faster climax, and it's got some painful howling sort of vocals that probably wouldn't sound too out of place on an early Bethlehem album. The last song, Inherent Opprobrium, is a ripper. It's very, that's like the 15-minute long song, so it's very slow for about half of it, but then just kicks in with this bloody amazing mid-paced galloping section that just gives me chills every time. It's just, very nice. I saw these guys at MDF, and I think also at the Union Pool in New York, in Brooklyn, I believe. They played with Hooded Menace, Negative Plane, and Ilsa. It was a friggin' killer gig, I've got to tell you. I'll see if I can dig up some photos. I'm pretty sure I took some photos of them, so yeah, it was a bloody awesome gig. This band only did the one album. They did like a demo, then this album, and then like a split that I think was just an off-cut song. So bassist Dan's been in a batch of bands. He's now in Excarnated Entity, which has a new album coming out pretty soon, I think. Guitarist and vocalist Vince is in heaps of bands, including Crurifragium, or however the hell you're supposed to pronounce that, and Black Witchery. Fortunately, the guitarist Kim died of cancer, so that was sad to see. But yeah, awesome band. Quite recommended this one if you like your death doom, disembowelment-ish sounding. So yeah, and Headest, bloody killer. Number 3 is Undergang with Doden Lager Alessa. I have no idea whether I pronounced that correctly. All their lyrics are in Danish, so God knows. Apparently the title means Death Heals All Wounds, which is kind of sad seeing it does appear to have the word lager in it. I was hoping for a bit more, but now. This is sludgy, rumbling death metal from Denmark. These guys have had pretty damn good output over the last couple of years. This is their 3rd album, I think. My preferred one of theirs. Actually, I don't know if the early couple were on Dark Descent, but I think everything since has been. This is probably the deepest sound they got. Although everything can be heard well, but it's just, bottom churning stuff. Love it. It's just got like thick grooves on, I'll try and pronounce it, Jomfru Blodbad. Cogged Eye Blood is also a killer one, but the whole thing's great. They really know how to write their mid-paced sort of riffs. It just has a killer kind of swagger to it, and just caveman. It's perfect style. This era is my preferred. It's a bit simpler than their newer stuff. Newer stuff's, I don't know, got a bit too much carcass necroticism to it. I like this more simpler sort of era. This is the first album they produced at Earhammer with like Greg Wilkinson, who's from Brain Oil and Autopsy and a million other bands, and he did a great job. The sound. I mean, they get a bit cleaner on the later albums, but you hear it just rumbles. I love it. We got lucky and they toured Australia around this era, maybe the year before this came out, I think. So, and yeah, it was an awesome gig in Canberra, but sadly, bugger all people there. But it was a very, very fun night for me. I was as keen as a bean, you could say. And yeah, look at the cover art. It's by the singer David, and it's also got a guest solo from Eric Cutler from Autopsy, so can't go wrong with that. Plus, yeah, gatefold thrash collage. I love it. So yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with any Undergang, really, to tell the truth. But actually wasn't that tricky. I've always kind of preferred this one, but Mythanthropology or whatever, then the one after that's pretty bloody killer as well. But yeah, love this band. Number 2 is Crypts with Unending Degradation. What a surprise. Finished death metal. Alright, this is the last one. Yeah, this version actually came out on Masako and Detest Records, but the CD version, which I also own, is on Dark Descent, so that'll do. Yeah, this was a bit of a tough call for these guys. I like all Crypts albums. The 3 albums are just killer stuff, but this one, it's a bit simpler and it's got more bounce. I know it sounds a bit sort of wanky, but I don't know, there's something about the groove that they have on this. It's just really, really enjoyable. It's this perfect style for me. Yeah, and I mean, Open the Crypt, which is an older song from their demo EP of the same name, was just prime example. Just the riff when that kicks in is just stomping. They got quite a large Doom influence on this, which is certainly my cup of tea, because, yeah, how can you go wrong with grimy sounding Death Doom? It doesn't get much better. This actually reminds me of Funebarum quite a bit in parts, which is another definite compliment. Just massive riffs, dark production, can't go wrong. What is it? Dormancy of the Ancients is another just ripper of a track. Stomping main riff, and when solo kicks in, it's just instant headbang. Killer stuff. Production on this is just stellar as well, like just deep and murky, but you can hear everything. The albums after this, I don't know, they're just not as bouncy and sort of catchy, you could say. They're still bloody killer, don't get me wrong. I'm very much looking forward to more from these guys. I'm so glad that I got to see them at Dark Mofo, and yeah, I'll put a link at the end to like their whole set. You know, I recorded all 45 minutes of it just because why not? And yeah, they were amazing live. I'm so glad I got to see them, because I don't like my chances of seeing them just touring randomly in Australia, so I'd probably have to see them overseas. So thanks, Dark Mofo, good work. But yeah, I love this bloody album. It's just, yeah, peak modern finished death metal for me. Doesn't get much better. Number 1, without doubt, is Blood Incantation with Starspawn. Yeah, this is a death metal band from Colorado. Probably the biggest band on Dark Descent these days, I'd say. These guys are going from strength to strength, and it's well worth it. I reckon it's killer stuff. First heard these guys on their Interdimensional Extinction EP, which honestly didn't really grab me. It's growing on me a bit, but yeah, just didn't really blow me away. So I'm very glad that I took a chance on this one and just ordered it straight off the bat, because it's bloody awesome. Instant love. I don't know, there's not that many albums I hear these days that I'm just like instantly like, yes, this rules. But this one was definitely it. It's a modern classic, you could say, as wanky as that sounds. Yeah, just amazing leads. Kind of reminds me of Alchemist in parts. Just big thumping riffs, is twisting weird, all sorts of stuff going on. You can hear a bit of the Morbid Angel and the Demolich influence, but it's really just that. It's just an influence. It's not plagiarism by any means. It's just all sort of woven together and with their own touch, and it's just beautiful stuff. It's just really natural sounding, doesn't have any forced sort of bits. It's all over the place, but which is not an easy thing to do, right? You know, very long sort of, twisting songs that actually work really well. I think they've split it in parts 1 and 2 for some reason. The Vitrification of Blood which live they do as one whole song, which is killer, but for some reason it's split in two on here, and it's the highlight for me for sure. It's just, yeah, all over the place. Dreamy sort of mellow bits, just heavy as hell bits. I think being a massive Alchemist fan really prepared me to love this band, and it worked very well because there's a batch of similarities, I'd say. If you like Blood Incantation, definitely check out Alchemist. Yeah, I think Hidden Species, the second part of that, is that's where the Time Ghoul influence kicks in a bit. I think it's just a sort of vocal phrasing kind of bit that is like, oh yeah, I know that bit. But yeah, the album after this, I can't even remember what it's called. It's pretty bloody good, but it doesn't quite catch me as much as this, to tell the truth. But yeah, this is just amazing bloody album. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So that's my top 20 albums from Dark Descent Records. They've come a long way in the 14 years that they've been around, so thanks, Matt. Love your work. The very first release they put out is this Burial Invocation EP, which is actually labelled as Dark Descent 4, which I think was a typo. This is just a reissue, unfortunately. I'm not quite that cult that I have the original one, but yeah, well. Yeah, as I said, one of my favourite current record labels. It's still spitting out great stuff. Yeah, I really look forward to whatever other stuff is coming out soon. And there's a batch of bands that weren't included in this. Ataraxy, Desolate Shrine, Gorphilia, Imprecation, Ritual Necromancy. The list goes on and on and on. They put out death metal. I love death metal, so I love a lot of their stuff. There's a good batch that I haven't actually really gotten around to checking out, so I'll have to get on to a bit more of their stuff, I think. But yeah, thanks again. You're doing some fine work. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.